Melle Hartley. She is joining me right now. Hello, welcome,
Hello, thank you for having me.
and thank you so much for being on. And I want to say before we begin, whoever made the banner, uh, tell him or her, or it could be you, thank you for the banner.
Oh, yeah, I actually made that. There was another one that my management actually made, but I just made that one to just kind of put more info about the actual show.
Cool. Well, I love it, and
Good.
and it looks great. So, job
Thank
well
you.
done. I mean, you're the guest, so obviously you want to add some more excitement. So, hey, I like it. I'm not tripping one bit. Um, so talk a little bit about yourself. What made you decide to be an actress?
Well, I kind of always wanted to get into acting. When I was really little, I started modeling actually when I was about 6 years old. And just from there, like I would take some modeling classes. I took just some on-camera classes and did commercials, and it just kind of snowballed into a full-on love for the craft of acting. And I took a really serious, like my first serious acting class when I was about 18, and just from there, I kind of just fell in love with it and just decided that I didn't want to do anything else but just act. So yeah, I just been pursuing it. I moved to LA about 4 years ago to kind of like take it really seriously as a career. And yeah, just been acting, and I still model, but I've been mostly focusing on acting.
So, what type of movies, or but yeah, what type of movies do or TV shows for that matter do you like doing? Are you more into the romantic side, or comedy, or action? Anything that stands out that the type of roles you like doing the most?
Um, I really like to do action. I did a short film a couple years ago, and it was very action oriented, and it was really fun. I would actually really love to do more like that. Yeah, like I'm trying to think, like Kill Bill, and with their in Kill Bill, like that would be an amazing role. Um, yeah, but I mean, I like to do comedy. I would love to do like a horror or a thriller. um, I just, I love to just play with the range, and I like to kind of play with it, and I don't want to limit myself to just one genre, so very open-minded.
That's definitely a good approach, because obviously, when it comes to being an actor or actress for that matter, there's going to be points that you're going to have to do things that's outside of your comfort zone. Or
Yeah.
whether it's a character, whether it's a type of genre that either you're not familiar with, or something that you don't see yourself doing. I mean, how is it that someone like you managed to adapt doing type of roles or movies that's outside your comfort zone?
That's a really good question because I've kind of had to face that recently, and I it's just something where you kind of have to just pretend, like you have to really get into the character. You have to really like it's not even you at that point, and but it's fun and it's a challenge. It's probably the biggest challenge. It's so easy to play a character who's very similar to you, but to play someone who even you would be just kind of like disgusted with a person like that, but it's like you playing that person. It's really kind of kind of crazy, but it's really fun, and I'm learning more and more about that, which is a good thing because I think it's going to make me not just like a character actor. It's going to make me an actual like actor. Like I want to be a serious actress. I want to be taken seriously. I want to win that Oscar someday. So I really need to be able to play the roles that are nothing like the actual me.
Who do you consider as influences in your acting career? It could be someone on indies or maybe mainstream, like anyone particular that you may have, you like the person's body of work that's that you admire, that you respect? Who do you consider your influences?
Um, I mean, I really, uh, the woman, I'm trying to think of her name right now. She's on the United States of Terra. Um, really, really talented actress. She's in Little Miss Sunshine. Blanking on her name right now, but she's amazing. Just every character she plays is like so different, but she's still. I don't know. Like I don't know how to even. Like I really believe like everything she says. I sometimes forget that she is playing a character when I'm watching her. Uma Thurman is also a really good actress. Angelina Jolie. I really like Garrett Hedlund. I think he's an amazing actor. He's one of the upcoming stars of our generation. Johnny Depp is great, of course. There's so many. I actually really learned to appreciate Brad Pitt recently, though. I mean, I've seen his movies like throughout my life and everything, but just I'm really liking more and more of his body of work. And then I'm trying to think. There's one other. Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio. I've been a fan of his since Titanic. Like that's kind of when I started noticing him really. But I've seen pretty much all of his movies, and he's just fantastic in everything.
So, do you have any like upcoming movies or TV shows? Anything particular you would like to promote that you have in the works?
Yeah, well, I actually just finished a Boost Mobile commercial. I shot that last week. I'm not sure when that will be out. But and then I did a film. It's called You Are a Loved One. Matt Mercer is directing it. So I'm sure there'll be more information. I'll be posting stuff on my Twitter, just at Melle Hartley, Melle, and then my last name. And then I'm also on Facebook. So yeah, there's some stuff coming up this summer, hopefully, that I'm still kind of waiting to hear more about. But that's kind of some stuff that I just recently worked on.
You already beat me to another question I was going to ask later on, but Facebook, Twitter, the website, make sure y'all go check them out. And if you want to book Melly, you can go to worldentertainmentagency.com. You can book her for interviews or upcoming roles, movie, TV shows, commercials. Just book her through them, and she will give it 110% from my understanding. Considering I'm talking to her right now, and I like what I'm hearing thus far. So you mentioned the commercials, and what do you think is more challenging? Do you think it's more challenging doing a commercial, or do you think it's more challenging doing the movie? Because in the commercial, I mean, it's obviously commercials 30 seconds up to a minute, maybe a minute and a half. But what do you think is more challenging, doing a commercial or doing a movie?
Well, I mean, they both have their challenges, I guess. It's kind of a little bit more challenging in the commercial aspect just because, you have less control over, like, what you're shooting. And then, like, if you don't feel something was maybe, like, your best take, like, you can't. I feel uncomfortable, like, just being like, oh, like, can we, like, retake that, whatever, especially, like, if it's a bigger thing. So if you're not, like, comfortable, you might feel kind of like, oh, like, maybe that wasn't my best work. And it is such a short period of time that, you're going to be on the screen. Like, you want it to be, like, your best body of work. But I guess, I mean, it always is a big challenge. When you're doing a commercial, you're kind of more or less playing yourself, but just in a more, like, commercially type of, like, maybe more happy or more sad than normal. When you're doing a movie, you're playing another character, so that's a lot of work on its own, like just doing all the character background work and just getting into the character, and so it's more emotionally stressful. It's more emotional work, I think, to be in a film. But commercials, they're not. It's not a walk in the park. It is a good. It's a good challenge. So, but I think both are really fun, and I get a kick out of doing either. So I'm not complaining at all.
Definitely understandable. I feel like, yes, when it comes to filming a movie or a TV show, obviously you got plenty of time. You got about maybe a month or even longer to get it done. I mean, for a commercial for a 30-second, and I guess you have to be at one position or whatever, or stand there and talk. That's obviously not a whole lot of, to do, or not much to say, but I feel like it could be just as challenging. But it's just, I guess, a matter of not much to do, so much to do, so little time, and that's more appear to doing a commercial, to doing a movie. Like, you got plenty of time, but the commercial, that's so much to do, so little time. At least that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think it's also just like I feel more pressure and stress like when I'm auditioning for commercials as I do like if it was for an actual film. I think it's just because there is like that there's a shorter amount of time, but it's also just because when you're auditioning for a film, you have a little time, like you can get into character, but when you're doing a commercial, you're not really playing a character, so it's like this weird. Um, for me, like I just feel, am I playing me, but just like more, or am I like should I get into character? It's just more of like I'm not sure, um, like which direction to go. So I think I'm a little bit more in my own head, and then than I am when I'm auditioning for an actual film. But I mean, like I said, they're both extremely fun, and I love it. And auditioning is a really fun process. Like until I'm actually shooting something, like it's fun to get into character, even if it's only for like that small little audition.
What do you consider as the highlight of your acting career thus far?
Oh, well, I mean, I've done a lot of things. I've done like a few like small little roles on some television shows and such. And I think that's pretty cool. But honestly, to this day, my highlight would probably still be when I performed that acting class I took when I was 18. I performed at the Complex Theater in Hollywood, and it was such a huge challenge for me. Like I was really young, and it was the first like real intense acting class that I had ever taken, and I had braces, and I was very, very self-conscious about that, and I had to play this character who was very sexual and very like sexy, and I did not feel sexy or confident at all because of my braces. So it was a huge challenge, and it was kind of like the first time that I really had to like get into character, and everything that I had done up until that point was kind of just cutesy, like smile for the camera, commercial stuff, and even some of the acting work that I had done was just kind of like background stuff and nothing that I really needed to deeply get into a character. So I had to really dig deep, and I had to learn a lot about myself and about acting and the craft. And I mean, there's I think the best stuff for me, like my highlights, are when I have breakthroughs. Another breakthrough that I had was I actually went to film school, and I just graduated last year in March, and after graduating, I just had another breakthrough, and I felt more connected, like to the craft of acting, and so just like moments like that, like it's like it makes me feel like I really truly am an actor and not just somebody who wants to be famous and wants to be on TV. Because I do, like I said, I want to win that Oscar. I want to be recognized as like a truly talented actress. So those are my highlights so far. Yeah, but there's always room for improvement. But so far, those are like my happiest moments.
Awesome. Some awesome stuff there. And I truly believe with your humbleness and your desire and your dedication, you definitely gonna go far in the industry, and I say sky's the limit for you. I mean,
Thank you.
you definitely are
Thank
on you definitely are on your way up. So that's for sure. And to any aspiring actors and actresses that wants to do what you do for a living, what would your advice be?
Um, Probably the biggest challenge. There's always that struggle of, do you try to fully 100% give your focus to acting and just do that, and then when you do it, the money doesn't necessarily come in as much as you want it to for bills and rent and all that. Um, I say, I moved to LA 4 years ago, and I moved here with no money. So my number one piece of advice would be save up, save up, save up, and then move to wherever the biggest market is, whether you're LA, New York, Miami, just so you have enough to live off of. Because I've tried the 9 to 5 job thing, and I feel like it just really hinders me. It hinders my craft. It kind of takes the focus away from being a real actress. Um, I guess it works for some people, but for me personally, it doesn't really work. So I like to just be able to just dedicate my time to my craft. Because another thing is, make sure that you really understand the business side of being an actor. Everyone gets caught up in, the acting lessons and working on the craft, but there is a business side to it that I think it took me a really long time to really wake up and understand that. And that will be your downfall as an actor if you don't understand that there is a business side to it. I actually took a class that's the business of acting, and it was amazing, and it just really opened my eyes, and I really understood so much more about the business side of it, and it really helped me. So, there's networking, you should be attending networking events, mixers, just meeting people anywhere and everywhere, not necessarily at bars or nightclubs, but just, any kind of film festival, after parties, stuff like that. Just kind of put yourself out there and introduce yourself, have business cards, be sending postcards to casting directors. Just there's so much that goes into it that I didn't understand before. So just educating yourself on your craft, but also on the business side of things as well.
Absolutely, most definitely. So you mentioned a little bit earlier about winning an Oscar. With that said, what are some other goals that you would like to accomplish? What are some? It could be maybe feature films, maybe getting yourself out there a lot more. What are some goals or other goals you would like to accomplish?
Definitely want to work with, some of the top actors in Hollywood. I think that really, if you're brought on to act in a film with people who, have been acting a lot longer than you, and for the director and the producers to think that you're good enough to be, on that level as, Meryl Streep and, all those type of people, that would be a huge accomplishment and a huge compliment. So definitely want to work with the big wigs. Also, I really think that for me, a horror film would be a huge challenge. So I would love to do horror, at least one, a feature horror. And then let's see. I mean, I have so many. I just because and things my goals change every year because I accomplish one thing and I like to keep adding onto the goals. I just want to. I think eventually, I love to act in films that have a message, because there's nothing greater to me than combining art with education, and for people to learn things from film is just a huge goal of mine. And I like I said, I have a film degree, so I think eventually I would love to, write, produce, and act in a film. But I know it's really hard. So I want to get better at like everything individually before I kind of jump into doing it all at once, like in the same film. But yeah, I think at this point, I would love to do. I made an appearance in my friend's film, but I want to do more features. That's kind of the goal. But also short films that premiere at like huge festivals like Sundance and all that. I would love to do that as well because that's huge. Like that's great networking in itself. Just being at those kind of festivals, and then to be able to be like, yeah, I was in one of them. That's even more amazing. So yeah, like definitely, that's kind of what I'm trying to do is just get more recognition, get more notice, in whether it be short films or feature films.
Once again, sky's the limit for you, and as far as movies, me being a fan of movies and stuff, there's a lot of high budget films that's out, and I mean that's all good and dandy. You got the big names, you got the a lot of money spent, a lot of money, through box office, but there's just not a whole lot of movies with a message behind it. I mean, people are just so caught up into the name of the movie, who's
Yeah.
in it, and how much money it's going to make. There's just not a whole lot of movies, not just this year, but over the last several years. I mean, there may have been some that stand out as far as message, but there's just not enough of it. I mean, do you think maybe Hollywood is out of ideas or feel like regurgitating the same old stuff?
Yeah, I think my personal theory on that is I think the problem is it's become such an industry that they're not really like worrying so much about the actual film and if it's just if it has like some kind of message to it. They're more worried about are we gonna make money off of this film? And they put so much money into the film, they want to make sure that they're getting that back, which I totally understand. The problem is it hurts me a little as a filmmaker because when I was younger, and even just watching some of these like older movies, like the Great Gatsby is out with Leonardo DiCaprio, Baz Luhrmann directed, but I was watching the original. I think it's like 1970 something version, and just I mean, it's just they're just so different now. Like films, it's not about the cinematic beauty anymore. It's I mean, there's elements of that in there, but I think it's more about like money. It's just how are we going to make money off of this, and people spend less time worrying about the script. That's why I think the funniest scripts, the ones that have the best messages and that actually tell a real story, I think are all like indie films because they're done, they're lower budget, yes, but they care more. But those films wouldn't get made if, it wasn't for them being like indie because the bigger budget stuff, like they wouldn't want to make that, which is really sad because I feel like, if this keeps up, then the next generation and the next generation, like they're not going to be able to really see really really good movies, and even movies that were probably once a huge deal, back in the 50s, 60s, they're kind of like what some people would consider to be like boring now because there's not all the CGI and the special effects and all that stuff. So it's a little sad, it's a little depressing as a filmmaker and also as an actor. That's why I want to act, is I want to tell a story, and if that's not really being told and it's just about like guns and action and stuff, like I mean it's fun, and those movies I think they're always going to be needed, but I think that they need to be like a little bit more sparingly, like not everything needs to be like that, but I guess that's just kind of what the world has come to.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, times have changed. People, it's like flavor of the week at this point. It's like, so that's hopefully there's, I mean, there are people out there that wants to have the type of movies that you don't need the glitz and glam to be successful. But I mean, glitz and glam, I mean, that's what people want,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, in this day and age. My last question for you is, I noticed that you favored one of my tweets on Twitter. You favor the tweet that I tweeted about the San Antonio Spurs was at the Miami Heat party after the series done ended, and you got a lot of Spurs fans not very happy with that. I mean, it's one thing to congratulate them after the game is over, handshakes, hugs and stuff, but for him to go to the party and spend time with one of the players from the team that beat you for an NBA championship on a deciding game seven, eh, just just leave the sportsmanship on the court. Now, if y'all want to party like few weeks after the fact, then no problem. But that just came hours after the game seven, and your team lost, and you're gonna celebrate with the winning team. I mean, now, in all fairness, Danny Green and LeBron James are former teammates from Cleveland, but
Oh.
still, yeah. So I guess that's the only exclamation, him being there. But other than that, you're on opposing ends. You're battling for the championship. That's a no-no. If you're gonna party, party a few weeks after the game. Don't just party just hours after the game itself. I just find that crazy. And Spurs fans have
Yeah,
a right to be upset.
I think that's a little, it's almost like a slap in the face to your teammates, but I don't know, maybe he just, I mean, he's, like you said, like, they had, they, someone was like his mutual teammate or something from the, I don't really follow sports, I just thought that was kind of funny, so I favorited it, but, I, don't- I get, I mean, I would agree with you, I think it's a little too soon, maybe
Yeah, too soon.
to your teammates it might look a little suspicious, whatever, but yeah, um, maybe he just wanted to help them celebrate. I don't know.
It's just the timing of it is just hours after that game. It's just no. I mean, look, just if you see him after the game, handshake, hug, like good game, good series, then see you next season.
Yeah.
But no, partying just hours after that. I mean, that's just a bit shady as far as I'm concerned. Well, Melly, it was great talking to you. Thank you for being on the show. You've pretty much been on
Thank
the
you.
show for the second half of the show, so we pretty much call this the Melly portion of chilling. And thank you so much. It was great chatting with you. Um,
You too.
and everybody check her out. Facebook under Melle Hartley. Follow her on Twitter and also at Matt Hartley and MelleHartley.com is her website for more info. Thank you again for your time, and you have a good night.
Thank you. You too.